Welcome, everyone. I am so excited that you are deciding to spend an hour with us today so that we can create a remote job strategy for 2021. My name is Kate. I am a remote career coach over at the Remote Nomad. We'll dive right into everything today. We have lots to cover. You can also find me, just if you guys want to connect afterwards as well, you can find me over on Instagram at the Remote Nomad and at KateSmith07 on LinkedIn. I'm just going to make sure I have the chat up here as well. Give me 1 second, just in case questions come through. We will go to all questions at the end as well. We'll have time to cover all of that. Okay. And then if you have any issues seeing anything or whatnot, just let us know in the chat. All right, let's dive into it. So first of all, so in this training today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be walking you through the exact steps to create a powerful remote job strategy for 2021 so that you can land a remote job with more ease, confidence, and clarity. So a remote job strategy is essentially a step-by-step action plan to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, which is landing a remote job. And we want to make sure that you're doing the right things at the right time in the right way so that you can succeed. So this is going to take you from feeling overwhelmed and confused and not getting any traction to a place where you can get more interview invites and get more remote job offers. So again, you can add me on Instagram as well at the Remote Nomad if you want to connect later on. So give me a yes in the chat box if you guys are ready to create this remote job strategy. So you can have it all done with more ease, more clarity, more confidence. We want to get rid of all that overwhelm. Okay, amazing, amazing. So glad to hear that. Okay, so listen, this training isn't going to be for everybody, and I know your time's valuable. So what I want to do is I just want to outline who this training is for, so we know who's going to benefit from this training. If it's not for you, you can leave. I'm not going to take offense. I just want to make sure we have the right people here for this. So this is for you if you want to land a remote job, but you just don't know how to get started. Or perhaps you've been trying to land a remote job, but you're struggling to get results. So you're not getting any interview invites, you're not getting job offers. Perhaps you're just overwhelmed. There's so much information out there online about landing a remote job. So perhaps you're just overwhelmed. You don't know how to bring all the pieces together, and it's just leaving you feeling more confused and frustrated with the process. And this is for you if you want a clear plan that outlines exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. This is also for people who are committed. So I want to make sure that you're ready and willing to put in the time and energy required to get results. We're going to take you through the path today, but it requires you doing the work to get those results. So we need to make sure that you're committed to the process and that you're ready to experience the freedom and flexibility that comes with a remote job. We also want to make sure that everyone on here today is coachable. So this means coming into the training with an open mind and a willingness to learn. So if this sounds like you, I'm going to look at the chat right now. Let me know if this sounds like you, if any of these resonated with you. I want to make sure we've got the right people here. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Amazing. Awesome. Lots of yeses. Great. Okay. So let me just see here. So here's what we're going to learn today. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the remote job strategy. You're going to be leaving this training with a blueprint and a step-by-step plan on the exact steps required for landing a remote job. I'm also going to share with you 3 specific actions that you can take today to start getting results. And by the end of this session, you're going to have massive clarity on where you should be focusing your energy and effort so that you can save time and maximize the results that you're getting. And you're going to learn how to deal with setbacks because those are inevitable. So we don't want those setbacks to derail your job search. So instead, we're going to address those head on today. And we're also going to have you leave feeling motivated and energized so you can keep that momentum going for landing a remote job. As Justine shared earlier, we are going to be giving away one of 3 free coaching sessions with me. I'm super excited about this. So this is going to be a powerful session to get you all set up for working remotely. These sessions are usually $249, but 3 lucky people on the call today are going to be getting it completely free. And just keep in mind, in order to claim the free session, you do need to be live on the call. So be sure you stick around for that. And for everybody else, if you don't win, I'm going to share with you how you can get access to my done for you remote job action plan template for free. Again, for those of you that if you don't win, I still want to give you some value by the end of this. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so let's just talk about a remote job strategy for a second. So Not having a remote job strategy is like spinning around in circles. You're moving a lot, but you're not getting anywhere. It would be like me trying to drive from Toronto, Canada, where I am now, to say California without a map. I know I want to go to California, but I would just be, instead of using a map, I'm kind of fingers crossed, hoping it works out, maybe asking people for directions along the way. And as you can imagine, that wastes a lot of time and energy, and it leads to very limited results. And perhaps worse, if you're putting in all this time and energy and you're not getting the results, you may assume it's because you lack the skills, the talent, or the experience, where really it could just be that your remote job strategy is off. So, misidentification of where you're actually missing the mark, so not being clear on where things are and are not working, it could end up costing you a lot of time and lead you to perhaps just call it quits altogether, or maybe start that whole stop and start approach to trying to land a remote job. So if this is you, there are a few ways that this could be showing up for you if you don't have a clear plan. So you can let me know in the chat box if you've ever experienced any of these when trying to land a remote job. So perhaps you start to doubt your skills or experiences, having that, I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, I don't have what it takes to land a remote job. The results that you're getting or lack thereof are not reflective of the time and energy that you're putting in. So you're putting in a lot of time, but you're just not getting the results. Or if you're just feeling lost or overwhelmed with the process, or you're continually starting and stopping the remote job search. Oh, I see some hands raised there. I'm going to be checking the chat in a sec as well. You've never created an action plan. You've never created an action plan for going remote. And let's keep in mind that to-do lists are not the same as creating a strategic action plan. And you just know there's something wrong with the approach, but you just don't know exactly what it is. So I'm just going to check the chat here. Okay, so true. Sounds like me. Margaret says, oh man, I'm going through those feelings. Leon, starting and stopping. Heather, yes, doubting myself. Kendra, this is so me. Okay. So you can relate to the struggle. Awesome. So if you relate to any of this, it's okay. You're not alone. The good news is you've made the incredible decision to be here today. So we're going to create a powerful remote job strategy for you so you can leave with that clarity and confidence so you can find a remote job you love. And this strategy session will be the first step in designing that lifestyle with more freedom and flexibility. So before we get started, I want to do a little exercise here. So it's just going to take 2 minutes and we'll get right to it. I want everyone to close your eyes. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath and release. Now, one more time. Take a deep breath and release. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to envision what life would look like for you when you have that full-time remote job. Think about, how would you spend your time? How would life be different for you? What would change in your life? What would it feel like waking up every day to a job that you love, that you know gives you the freedom and flexibility that you want? So with your eyes still closed, I want you to take a couple more seconds and just really paint that picture. I don't want you to focus on the how you're going to get there. Just focus on how it would feel to achieve that, to have that remote job. Let's give you a few more seconds. Just really paint that picture. Okay, now coming out, everyone can open your eyes. Now let me know in the chat, how would it feel if you made that vision a reality for yourself? If you had that remote job, let me know what's coming up for you. How does that feel? What does that look like? Share it in the chat. Let me see. Happy, exciting, rewarding, says Marlene. Chris says free and flexible. Leon says lightness. Raquel, traveling when I want. Yes, Raquel, I feel you there. Angelina, energized. Yes. Balance, flexible, incredible, amazing. Okay, so I want to share a quick story with you, and as I do, I want you to see if you can relate to any of this. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kate, remote career coach. 6 years ago, I was burnt out, overworked, needed a change. I was a project manager at an advertising agency, and at that time, I had only been in corporate for a few years, but I knew this could not be the rest of my life, and so I decided I'm going to save up and I'm going to quit my 9-to-5. However, unknowingly, about a month before I was going to quit, my boss laid me off. I just took it as a sign, okay, I'm ready to go. And with my new job, I knew, okay, I don't want to do the whole cubicle thing anymore. I knew I wanted to travel, I wanted to make money because I had student loans, and I didn't want to sit at a desk all day. And so this seemed a little ambitious, but I was up for the challenge. And I eventually came across this concept of working remotely. And as soon as I heard that I could work from my laptop from anywhere in the world, in my heart and my gut, I was like, this is it. This is the path for me. I'm going to figure this out. So what I did is I booked a one-way ticket to Prague. I was like, okay, I'm going to book a one-way ticket to Prague. This is actually me before boarding that flight. I invested all of my savings in a program, and I had 1 month to figure out this whole remote work thing. At this time, I wasn't working, I was unemployed. So I had 1 month to get a remote job because those bills were coming in. I had to pay for this program, and I struggled. I struggled a lot. So when I was applying to all these jobs, there seemed to be something different about landing a remote job compared to landing a traditional job. And at the time, I just couldn't figure it out. And the longer I spent abroad, the more my savings were dwindling, and the more desperate I became. And then my laptop died, which everyone knows is the most important part of working remotely. And I remember just standing there crying, thinking, okay, I have to give up on remote work and go back to Canada, or I've got to figure something out here. And I chose to figure it out. And I started to change my strategy. And within a few weeks, I landed a full time remote job, very close call there. And once I landed that remote job, I spent the first year traveling the world, did about 12 countries in the first year. Then I moved to Bali, Indonesia, and people started to take notice of my lifestyle. And I was flooded with messages asking, how can I land a remote job too? And so this is what actually inspired me to start my business as a remote career coach. My journey, it was challenging, it was inefficient, it required so much trial and error. And so when I say I get that this process can be frustrating, it can be confusing, it can be overwhelming, and even sometimes really lonely, I truly mean it. I've been there. And on the other side of this is landing a remote job completely changed my life. It gave me the freedom, the flexibility to live life on my terms, and the people I've met, the experiences that I've been able to have. And I often say that I've been able to live a full lifetime by the time I've just been 30 than most people will in their entire lives. And I want to help you do the same. And that's why we're here today. So we know where we are and we know where we want to be. It's that in between part that can get really confusing and complicated for a lot of people. And that's why we put together today's training so that you can get a remote job in the most straightforward way possible with more ease and confidence and in the least amount of time as possible as well. Just for those of you that aren't familiar with me, I've been featured in publications such as Fast Company, BBC, CNN. I actually worked with the country of Estonia as a digital nomad community representative to create the world's first digital nomad visa, and was named 100 most influential remote work experts in 2021 by Remote Weekly. And the best part about all of this is this. These are the messages that I'm getting from clients, helping countless people land remote jobs so that they can experience that freedom to live life on their terms as well. So these are the type of messages that I get from clients. And I'm sharing this with you because I want to expand your belief of what is possible for you. I want you to see that if someone else can do this, you can do it too. So let's dive into what we're going to cover today on the agenda. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to set the foundation for your remote job search. So how to set yourself up for success and get clarity on where we're going. Then we're going to dive into the 4-part action plan. So we'll go through what each of those sections are, how you can apply them. And then once we know and understand all the sections, we're going to look at how you can bring all of these elements together and how you can actually use this strategic plan throughout your journey. Because you don't just create it once and forget about it. This is going to be something that's very active that you use on your job hunt. Think of it like your map that you'll constantly refer to when landing a remote job. Also, don't forget, at the end of the free training, we're going to announce the winners of the remote career coaching sessions. I'm also going to share with you how you can get access to the Done For You remote job action plan template. So make sure you stick around. So let's dive in. Okay, so in terms of setting the foundations, this first part is very human centered. And I promise we're going to get to the meaty parts of the process that everyone's looking forward to, but we can't neglect the fact that we're human. We're going through a whole global pandemic right now. We cannot ignore or pretend that that doesn't play a role in our lives or even in finding a remote job. So instead of pretending it doesn't exist, we're going to address it head on. And this is going to be important because it's going to be it really is a make or break factor for success. So 99.9% of the time, when someone gives up on their goal to land a remote job, it's because of this human element. So if we can mitigate and manage that as best as we can and learn to work with it instead of against it, then we can increase your chances of success for landing a remote job and also just not giving up on the process because it's not always easy. So let's dive into it. So first, what we want to do, the first part of setting the foundation is setting ourselves up for success. As I said, landing a remote job, it's hard. It can be really tolling. If you've been trying to apply for remote jobs, you probably get what I mean. And so we want to create the path of least resistance and set you up for success. So this means making sure you have all the pieces in place to support you throughout the process. So there are 4 pillars to this. The first one is time management. So managing your time throughout the process and when you'll commit to the job hunt process. Risk management. So identifying anything that could take you off track, determining what that is and how you can address that in advance. Then we have environment. So making sure your environment is setting you up for success. So for example, do you have an environment where you're free of distractions? Or maybe you just want a more inspiring environment. So maybe you post somebody working from their laptop and you post that for some inspiration. And then community support. So creating a community for support, for feedback as you go through this journey. So this could be a coach, it could be a community. There's We Work Remotely. I have my students inside a remote career accelerator. So we have a WhatsApp group and our weekly calls to support each other. These 4 pillars are so important because instead of just winging the process, you're creating structure, intention, and commitment with the whole process while setting these expectations for yourself as well. So what I want you to do when it comes to the remote job search process, I want you to think of this as taking on a part-time job. So part-time job, it's also remote because you're going to be looking for jobs remotely. And so you're going to have to manage your time. You're going to have to manage your environment. These are skills that you're going to have to bring with you to a remote job. And you need to show up consistently every day. So the thing with the job hunt, though, think of it more like an internship where you're not going to get paid right away, but you are going to get rewarded at the end of the process with a full-time remote job. So this is a great way, even just going through the process of landing a remote job, a great way to look at it as though you have your new part-time job so that you commit, you show up every day. You wouldn't get a remote job and then just not show up for the job. So we really want to show up and stay committed. If you don't have this in place, and these elements and these foundations to set you up for success, what you're risking here is increasing your odds of calling it quits or starting that whole start and stop approach. So if any of you can relate where you're all jazzed up, you apply to a bunch of jobs, you don't hear back, you get discouraged, it goes on pause for a bit, and then after a while you get inspired again and you start again. So we want to avoid that. So these foundational parts and pieces, they're going to keep you going, especially when the going gets tough. It's going to give you that strong base to support you on your goal of going remote. Okay, so with the time management side of things, what it does is it ensures you're committed to the process, ensures you're consistently showing up. So what you want to do is you want to have dedicated time to this process. And in just a minute, we're going to specifically outline exactly what this looks like for you. As we're going through this training today, we're going to be collectively putting together your action plan for going remote. So risk management, this allows you to tackle solutions to problems in advance so you can overcome them swiftly and from an empowering standpoint. So say, for example, a risk or a challenge that could come up would be getting a no. You apply to a job, you get a no. How are you going to handle that so that you can move forward in an empowering place? So if you can brainstorm that in advance, you can then tackle that problem from a more empowering place. Environment. So with environment, it allows you to create a path of least resistance by reducing the elements that don't serve you and increasing the elements that do. So With COVID, obviously, this isn't a perfect science. Maybe some of you have kids at home, other, whatever it may be. So it's not a perfect science, but you're going to set up your environment as best you can to support you. And then community. So this ensures that you have that support through the highs and lows, which are inevitable, by the way. And this will just keep your spirits high and, help push you through when the going gets tough. And so with this community, you can absolutely get a community remotely. It doesn't have to be in person. Um, you want a remote job anyway, so it's good to start getting used to connecting with people on a remote basis. So let's look at what this will look like in your actual action plan. So what I want you to do is you can write this down as we're going through. Um, the first thing on your action plan, setting the foundation. So under there, we have set up for success. So what I want you to do is add in time management. So block out a dedicated time for your remote job search. In terms of risk management, I want you to add an action item that has you looking at creating a list of all the possible blocks that you could face and what those solutions to those blocks would be. In terms of environment, I want you to create an environment, add an action item here to create an environment that sets you up for success. And then in terms of community, I want you to research and find a community that you can tap into, whether it's a community, a mentor, a coach, somebody that can support you along this process. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water for a second. Lots of talking. I'm just looking at some of the comments as well. Oh yeah, I'll share why I chose Prague in a minute. Okay, so let's keep going. So next, in terms of setting the foundation for your um, remote job journey, is getting clear on your career path. So imagine I tell you, hey, go to the grocery store, pick me up some apples. So you could do it, but the chances are with this vagueness, you're not going to pick the apples I want or the amount of apples I want. So in that case, you just keep running back and forth to the grocery store. Okay, is this what you want? No, I want some apples. And it's just very vague. So you can see that vagueness just leads to a lot of wasted time and energy. Now imagine I said, I want 2 organic red gala apples. Now you have the exact clarity that you need to get exactly what you want with the path of least resistance. You're not running back and forth, and it's going to maximize your time and energy. So career path clarity is getting clear on the exact type of remote job that you want to apply to. So in order to determine this, you'll look at your skills, your experience, your needs and wants in a company, and the opportunities that are available out there to determine the remote career path that's best for you. So this will require some research to determine the best fit opportunities. When you have this remote career path clarity, it's so important because it's going to keep your career search focused. It will help you determine which remote jobs you want to invest your time and energy into and filter out the ones that aren't the right fit. It's also going to keep your messaging focused when you're communicating your value because it's going to be tailored to this exact role. And it's going to help you stand out from the competition because your messaging and value is going to be so laser focused. And this will play a role as well in how people perceive you and the value and what they deem that you're an expert in. So first, you want to determine the right career path for you. So you don't want to move forward in this strategy until you're super clear on what that role is for you. Again, this is going to require a little bit of research up front, but it's going to save you a ton of time in the long run. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be applying to multiple roles because let me give you an example. So say you're unclear on the career that you want as a remote worker, and you're interested in writing roles, marketing roles, project management. So those are the 3 roles you're interested in. So you have all of that on your LinkedIn, it's on your resume. So when a hiring manager then looks at your LinkedIn, they're going to be confused what you're an expert in. It's going to be like, okay, we got some project management, we got writing, and it doesn't really show that you're, an expert in, say it was a marketing or like a marketing role you applied to. It's the other roles would be diluting that message, if that makes sense. And if you have any questions, again, let me know in the chat. So when you're not clear on the career path for you, you're diluting your value. You're confusing hiring managers. You're sending mixed messages. And ultimately, this is just going to waste a lot of time and energy because you're going to be then applying to opportunities that just aren't the right fit for you. And when you're applying to opportunities that aren't the right fit, this means you're going to get a lack of responses, then cue the whole ego crush, and then you're going to be questioning the whole entire process. So when you're clear on a career path that is best for you, it's going to narrow down the types of jobs you should apply to. Your messaging will communicate that you're an expert in this field. This means your network can better support you. People will start perceiving your value differently, and it can give you an edge on the competition that could be making this mistake, which is quite common. I want a remote job, so I'm willing to take whatever's out there. You really need to get focused on what that path is first. So in terms of what this is going to look like on your action plan, this is what I want you to do. So add another section, career path clarity. And I want you to research the remote work landscape to determine the type of remote roles available. We work remotely, post a ton of job opportunities. You can check them out. Based on the next I want you to write, based on your skills and experience, what is the best role suited for you? Or if you're making a career change, based on your transferable skills and wants, what role is best suited for you? And then I want you to research what you want from a company to ensure that this type of role would meet your needs. So you want to do some research in terms of, okay, if I want this type of career in the remote working world, what type of pay should I expect? What's the culture like in this space, in this industry? So whatever is important to you, you want to get clear on that ahead of time. The last thing you want is to be applying to, say, a bunch of customer service roles. Say it's customer service roles, you do your research and you realize, oh no, like that pay range isn't aligned with what I want. You've just saved yourself a ton of time by not having to go through that process of applying to figure it out. You're doing that research up front. Is everyone following so far? We're good. Yeah, so Jess, that's a great question. So yeah, writing is a part of digital marketing, but you want to present it in a way where it complements it and doesn't take it over. So if you're, say, for example, on LinkedIn, your headline is saying something about, digital marketer, you want to have it in like some enticing way on LinkedIn. And then within you can say, okay, how the writing can complement that. So it's complementing it rather than taking it over. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's look at, so right now what we've done is we've set the foundation. So we've set up our environment, our space, we have the support we need. We're really clear on what that career path is. I'm seeing some LinkedIn questions, and we're going to get to LinkedIn as well. So let's dive into now, we've set the foundation. Now we want to dive into the 4-part action plan for actually landing a remote job. So the first part is high value visibility. And I think an incredible way to showcase this is to share an example with you. So I'm not sure if anyone has seen this before. It says, how would you write, I changed a light bulb on your resume? And this was the response. Single-handedly managed the successful upgrade and deployment of new environmental illumination system with zero cost overruns and zero safety incidences. So this is an amazing example of how you communicate your value to create that high value visibility. And the other part of that visibility is also being active online, having that active online presence. So not only do you want to present your skills of high value, you want to have that visibility as well. So how you communicate your value and your active online presence. So this would apply to how you communicate on LinkedIn. So being active on the platform, being active on LinkedIn, having an optimized LinkedIn profile, having a high performing resume. And so what I mean by that is we look at this writing here. These two statements have just said the same thing. One sounds incredible and the other sounds blah. So there's a bit of an art when it comes to writing this. I have a training on this inside my remote resume bundle. I don't think we'll have time to get to it today, but this here just demonstrates the difference of how you communicate. And then even how you communicate throughout your conversations as you're connecting with people on LinkedIn, as you're just having conversations in general with people and nurturing your network. How are you communicating with them? And having an active online presence is also important. So we have this high value that we can see here, and then you want to have that visibility so that employers can find you. It's the 21st century. They're going to be looking for you online. And LinkedIn's a really good place to establish this visibility. As I've just said, it's the 21st century, everything's online. So having that presence is really important so that employers can find you, they can learn more about you. And this will give you an edge on the competition because not everyone is doing this. And the other part of this is that this is going to give you control over your career now and in the future, because you're establishing an authority in your space when you create this high value visibility. This also, part of this also includes the networking aspect, and we're going to get to that. But without this, it would be challenging to stand out, to show your true value. All of you here today, I'm sure, have incredible skills and talents. We want to make sure that you're communicating that in the right way, so that you can communicate your true value. And again, we want you to have that control over your career. When people see you as a high value candidate, you're going to have more control. You'll be able to, oh, sorry, here we go, right here. You'll be able to establish that authority and that credibility. It will be creating this omnipresence for yourself. And people will think of you when they think of that particular role. And it makes it easier, like I said, for recruiters and hiring managers to find you. And this is what's going to make you the no-brainer choice for remote roles. And I've said it so many times, but it really gives you that job security in a sense, because you're establishing that credibility, you're building that personal brand of sorts. It doesn't have to be as overwhelming as it sounds, so you can get more results. You'll be more confident. We'll have more people reaching out to you for opportunities. Do you have any questions in terms of high value visibility? I think we're good. Okay. So in terms of what this will look like in terms of specific actions, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have an optimized LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you post and engage on LinkedIn. So not just posting on LinkedIn, but like really have real conversations and really connect with people on LinkedIn. Next, you want to create a high performing resume. And you'll also want to determine how you'll communicate your skills in an appealing way. So again, if we go back to this example here, this is a prime example of how you can make something that seems so blah and make it more appealing. Again, if this is something you want to explore more, I have that inside of my remote resume bundle that I can share. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so the next part is networking. So it really is who you know, not what you know. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know how to communicate your skills and value in the right way or connect with the right people in the right way, you're really missing a huge opportunity here. So networking is really proactively connecting with people in an authentic way and nurturing those existing relationships. Ideally, you want this to lead to opportunities, but that's not how you want to come across. So you want to focus on being of value in your space. So connecting on LinkedIn, it's not just about connecting with people on LinkedIn, it's about having those discussions. So maybe when you add a new contact on LinkedIn, instead of saying, hey, nice to be a contact, say, hey, I noticed this is what stood out on your profile to me. Are you working on anything exciting? LinkedIn is a tool to start those conversations. So don't just use it to make a bunch of connections. You want to use it to engage. Another way that you can do this is through online events. So it's not as much as attending an event like today. You have to connect with people after. So for those of you on today, what you could do is people can be dropping their LinkedIn profiles here. You can connect with them after, or maybe seeing, who the speakers are at events, who the attendees were, and connecting with those people and starting conversations with them after. And also setting up informational interviews. This is just a really intimidating way of saying low pressure coffee chats. So just talking with people in your space, learning more about them. People like to call it informational interviews. It's just really a low pressure way to connect with people. So the reason that this is so important is that employee referrals are 4 times more likely to be hired. And there was a survey that was done, and 70% of the people ended up in their current role thanks to networking. So this is something that we cannot dismiss in our strategy. It can dramatically decrease. Did I put increase? Dramatically increase? Oh, without this, yes, without this, it will dramatically increase the time it will take you to land a remote job, and it creates less job security. When you have a network that you know you can rely on for opportunities, you feel more control of your career now and in the future. So, like I just said right here, it gives you that more control over your career. You're going to save so much time when you know that you have a network working with you and for you. And you connect with awesome people. Like, there's only good to come from that. Okay. So, in terms of specifics of how you want to add this to your strategy, what I want you to do is research who you should connect with. So, research remote companies for inspiration. You can head over to We Work Remotely, see the types of companies that are out there, research who you should connect with. Then, I want you to connect with new contacts on LinkedIn. But you don't just want to connect with them, start those conversations with them. So determine, okay, how many people do I want to connect with on LinkedIn a day? How many conversations am I starting daily? Find and attend different online events and connect with those people after. So in your action items, determine, okay, what event should I be attending? Who should I be connecting with? And reach out to those people. And also add to your strategy, setting up those informational interviews. Awesome. I see a ton of people dropping their LinkedIn profiles here. Amazing. Connect with everybody. It's awesome. Okay. And then what you want to do, so what we've had so far in terms of our strategy is creating that high value visibility. So showcasing our skills in the right way, creating that visibility, that online presence, networking, a huge part of it. And then we want to identify right fit opportunities. So knowing where to look for legitimate opportunities and how to avoid those scams. And you want to do your research before you invest time in an opportunity, to make sure they meet your needs. So whether it's strong culture you're looking for, salary. I have some that are that I've shared inside of one of my programs, but I think that you can just research this, and connecting with the right people that lead to opportunities. This will be being able to identify these right fit opportunities will be a huge time saver for you. I've seen so many people, what they'll do is they'll apply to jobs because they feel like they're doing something, but applying to opportunities that you don't really want or that aren't a good fit for you, it's just going to waste time, energy, and effort, and not to mention be a huge blow to your confidence. And when you're applying to these opportunities that you don't really want, chances are you're probably not going to hear back. And there's nothing worse than getting a rejection from a company that you don't even want to be a part, don't even really want in the first place. So not doing this is really just, again, motion without progress. So you're spinning your wheels, you're just not making any progress. Um, oh, and hold on, let me just see where we're at here. Yeah, it's like when you're looking for these right fit opportunities and identifying what's the best opportunities for you to pursue. Part of this is like the way to look at it is like measure twice, cut once. Make sure it's the right fit before you invest all of this time and energy into it. Okay, so this is just really going to keep you focused so you can filter out the opportunities that aren't a fit, spend time on the ones that are. It's going to save you so much time. And remember, we talked about time management. The last thing we want to do is have you wasting time. So this is going to have you really clear on, okay, this is where I want to invest my time and energy, and this is where I don't. Okay, so just to summarize this in an essence, so with right fit opportunities, a way that you can uncover this is through your network. So when you're networking, these people will be sharing more opportunities with you, and you can determine, okay, is this meeting my needs? Is this what I want? You will know right away, okay, if I go down this career path, what does that look like? And the way that you can determine this, online research, informational interviews, determine, okay, if I take this career path, what does that salary look like? If I go to this company, what is the culture like there? And getting clear on all of this before you invest all of that time and energy into applying. So in terms of adding this to your action item, what you want to do for one of your action items is determine where you're going to look for these opportunities. So We Work Remotely is a great site for posting legitimate opportunities. People in your network, the people that you start to connect with in the remote space. And also make sure that you do some research to understand the difference between legitimate opportunities and scams. I'm not sure if Justine, if you've posted on We Work Remotely about this. I have, I think, a blog post about this on my blog, The Remote Nomad. Um, and then when you're presented with an opportunity that you're interested, so maybe you're on We Work Remotely, you find a job you're interested in, make sure that you have a clear understanding. So researching the salary, the company culture, and make sure it meets those needs before you invest the time. And then what you want to ask is, do these opportunities match what I can offer? Do they match my skills? And if not, where are there gaps? Where do I need to level up my skills? Okay, so I just want to give you a bit of a visual here of where we're going with all of this. So what we did at the beginning is we set the foundation, okay, getting really clear on what is that best career path for me, setting myself up for success. So that's the foundation. And then it feeds into these three elements that we covered so far. Now, the thing with this is that it's not a linear approach. It's a very layered approach. All these elements will continue working together. So you want to be working at creating that high value visibility, being active on LinkedIn, having optimized profile, resume. At the same time, you want to actively be networking, connecting with people, having those informational interviews. And then you're going to be identifying these right fit opportunities. So whether it's going to job boards like We Work Remotely, through your network, identify these right fit opportunities. So all of these three pieces here really work together. They are not separate. They will work together in uncovering that remote opportunity for you. Now, what you'll notice, then we get to the application phase. So we identify the right fit opportunity, then we apply to the job. Now, you'll notice we're only now applying to the job, and this is step 4. So often everyone thinks the first thing you do, apply to jobs, when really we have all of this to build at and work before we even get to the application process. So this is what I call unicorn application. Now, the reason I call it unicorn application is because you're not just applying. You want to go above and beyond to stand out. So it could be as simple as getting a referral. It could be creating a value add piece. So maybe in the process, you create a custom video. Maybe that's not part of the application process, and you decide, I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to create this short custom video for this company. And it takes a little more time, but it's dramatically going to increase your odds. So don't think of this as, oh, this is the last piece of the puzzle. This is really just the start. It's almost like the last 5 minutes of a sporting event. This is where you need to give it your all. And so when you're going above and beyond to stand out, it's going to help you dramatically, because not a lot of people will do this. And even if you do this and you don't get the job, you are going to be remembered for other opportunities. When Matt from We Work Remotely and I did our last session, he even said, we've been hiring and we had people send in. And when somebody does something that just really stands out and goes above and beyond, they don't forget those people. So the next time they need to hire, or if someone else they know is looking for someone in that role, you're going to come to mind. So even if you get a no, you're still going to perhaps have another opportunity lead from that. So it could create more opportunities for yourself. And again, that it's just more job security. When you have more people coming at you with opportunities, it gives you, the chance to come at it from an empowering place and really control your career. And if you don't do this, you're just wasting time. If you're going to already go through and spend the time tailoring your resume and applying and going through the whole process, this is just it's like the icing on the cake. It takes a little extra effort, but it will really be rewarded. And it can just increase your chances of securing that interview, lead to other opportunities. So again, if you don't get the job, if you take the time and effort to stand out and you don't get it, it's not so much a, oh, sorry, no. It's a, oh, sorry, no, but when we're looking again, or if I know of anybody else, and it can still lead to those opportunities. So how you're going to prepare this when it comes to your specific action plan, let's look at that. So down here, what you want to do is, as you're applying to jobs, you want to make sure that it's tailored to that specific job every time. Of course, your cover letter tailored as well. If you can, use a referral. And then what I want you to do for an action item is brainstorm different ways that you can stand out in a creative way. Think of, how can I add value? So it could be, if you're a designer, maybe you just design a company's homepage, so they can get an idea of your skills and really visualize you in that role. So think of creative ways that you can stand out and create a value add piece. And then once you are applying to these jobs, I want you to create those value add pieces, send those out, and also don't forget to follow up with employers when you're doing that as well. Okay, so let's bring this all together. We've covered a lot so far, so I want to make sure you're seeing how all of the pieces are connecting here. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas of creative ways standing out, add it in the comment box. We're all here to support everybody on their journey to landing a remote job. So any ideas, anything that you've tried, that you've done that works, put it in the comment box. So let's bring this all together. So we've set the foundation, how to set it. We've already talked about that. We have all these pieces here working together, creating that high value visibility, your network, identifying these right fit opportunities. And then when we find these right fit opportunities, then it goes into the application process. So there's also other elements, of course. There's the whole interview, negotiation, integrating into your new remote job. We don't have, I know we're a bit tight on time today, so we don't have enough time to dive into all of that. But what we have here today are some specific action items that you can work towards today, creating that high value visibility, the networking, identifying those right fit opportunities, and sending in your unicorn application. So when you are using this, so we want this to be a document that you can actually use. So when you're using this, let's talk about how you can use this throughout your job search. So as you're implementing all of this, you're going to do the action. So whatever it may be. I don't just want you to keep doing the same thing over and over and not get results. Every week, what you should do is look at what you've done and learn from that. Okay, what have I done this week? What's working, what's not working? Because you want to do more of what's working and what's not. So say you've reached out to a bunch of people on LinkedIn and no one responded to you. Maybe you need to adjust your messaging and your wording. Are you taking time to build a relationship, or are you just like, hey, let's get on a call, and jumping right to it? So every time you're taking action, see what's working and what's not working. Maybe it's the industry. Maybe that week you've applied to a lot of opportunities that are in a particular industry and you're not hearing back. Or maybe it's an industry and you're hearing a lot back and you're like, wow, I'm getting a lot of traction with this industry. Maybe I'll stay in that space. So what you want to do is you want to take action, but you also want to learn as you're going so that you can revise and then improve and repeat that process. So instead of just doing the same thing, we're learning as we're going and optimizing the process. Okay, so I want to make sure that you leave today with 3 specific things that you can do to start getting traction with your remote job search. So you can screenshot this, write it down. I want you to connect with 5 people today on LinkedIn, and not just connect with them, start a conversation. So I saw everybody before dropping in links. You can start connecting with people, start having that conversation. I want you to commit to posting daily on LinkedIn for 1 week. Again, this part goes in creating that high value visibility. So just set 1 week, no pressure there, committing to posting daily on LinkedIn. It could be sharing an article and your thoughts on that article. It could be original posts of something in your space or industry that you're an expert on. And then what I want you to do is brainstorm 3 creative ways that you can stand out when applying to remote jobs. So these are 3 specific things that you can take today to get you closer to achieving that goal of landing a remote job. Now, I just want to introduce you really quickly to Ty as we wrap up. Ty had come to me through the We Work Remotely portal, booked in a session, and Ty has shared here, before working with Kate, I would get really motivated for a brief time, send out a million resumes, and then get the rejection. And I was just really frustrated, upset, and discouraged. And I wonder how many of you can relate to that as well. But after the session with Ty, he created a plan, felt really confident, and just really prepared and organized. So Ty took everything that we did during that session, implemented it, and then I got this message from Ty. Just signed the official offer letter. So Ty took action on everything that we covered during our session together, landed that full-time remote job. And this is the message that I got from Ty. So in that session with Ty, and in the career coaching sessions in the platform, the We Work Remotely platform, what's included there is 60 minutes of one-on-one time, you and I on a Zoom call. What we do is we identify any gaps in your current strategy that could be holding you back from getting job offers. You'll learn what the high impact tasks are to start implementing so that you can maximize your time. So looking at, okay, here's where you should be focusing most of your energy and time in order to get the most results. You'll get personal feedback on the various elements in your remote job strategy, your resume, your LinkedIn. So when Ty and I worked together, he got feedback on his resume, LinkedIn, and his overall strategy so that he can make improvements. And he left with specific action items to complete and a timeline with that. So he knew exactly what he needed to do, custom to him, personalized to his situation, and when he needed to complete that. And in those sessions, we also get clear on the right career path for you. So if you're someone where you're like, I don't know what the space is like, I don't know what opportunities are out there, I don't know which ones fit my skills, what I want to do, we'll get clear on that in that session and answer all of your questions when it comes to working remotely. And I just wanted to share and invite you. So for anyone today, we have 3 lucky people that are going to be winning a session today with me. And we're going to be announcing that in just a moment. And for anybody, hold on, let me just see if I got, okay. For anybody that doesn't win today, you are still welcome. What I still want to do is still give you an incredible offer. So the sessions that I host are usually $249 for the 60-minute session. Inside the We Work Remotely portal, Justine will drop in the link here how you can join. I'm going to be giving everybody today $50 off that session. So it'll be $199. And I'm also going to offer 2 bonuses today. So everyone's going to get a discount today. Justine's going to drop the link there. So you're going to get $50 off. But for everybody that joins today, so Justine's going to keep me posted on everybody who joins. And what I'm going to give you is 2 additional bonuses. I'm going to give you access to my remote resume bundle that I've been talking about through the session as well. This is usually $37. It has a training on how, when we talked about that high value visibility, so how to present your skills in a way that appeals to employers. It talks about the ATS, how to be ATS, fast track application system. So there's 4 training videos in there. You're going to get real life resume examples. You'll get templates, a checklist, a done for you tracking worksheet, and the community in there. So anybody that decides that they want to commit to this anytime today, it doesn't have to be on this call, but by the end of the day today, I'm going to throw in the remote resume bundle and also the done for you action plan worksheet. Awesome. Okay, so again, you can connect over at the Remote Nomad, and we are going to announce the giveaway winners. Let's see here. I think Justine, did you send it? Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Okay, so first up, our first winner of the remote career coaching session is Pauline Chin. Pauline Chin. Do we have you still on here, Pauline? Amazing. Okay, and then next up we have, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Anja Hagedorn. Anja Hagedorn. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You are the second winner. Congratulations. And then third up, we have, let me see here. Pakisha Peterson. Amazing. Congratulations, winners. So in terms of next steps, what we're going to do is Justine is going to send me your email. I'm going to get in touch with you by email by tomorrow, and then we're going to book in your session. We're going to dive in, and hopefully we achieve another tie here. I want to see more emails like this coming through that you signed your contract with your new remote role. So what I want to do is I know we're a bit tight on time here, but I do want to open it up for any questions. When it comes to creating your remote job strategy, today we were a bit tight on time. I tried to pack it all in there, but I do want to open it up if anyone has any questions when creating your remote job strategy. Awesome. Let me see if I have plenty. Justine, do you want to come on and see if, have there been any questions that have come through that we haven't addressed?
Yes, there's some really good questions here. Let's start with the first one from Elizabeth. She asks, would you recommend keeping a current job or risking it and quitting to focus all of your energy on finding a remote job?
I would say, I mean, it's a totally personal decision. I would recommend keep your current job. I Majority of my clients are already working full-time remote jobs and still committing to the process to going remote. Um, that way you're just not putting yourself in a compromising situation where if it takes longer than you anticipate. So I would definitely say, keep the job that you have. And then you can pursue the remote work opportunities and finding a remote job, whether it's on the weekends or the evenings. But because it's totally manageable to do that. Again, a lot of my clients have full-time jobs when they're pursuing remote work. Totally manageable and doable.
Yeah, I agree with you. It totally depends, and yeah, I actually did that. Not to drag this on longer, but I have when I found my job at We Work Remotely, I was on like a 4-month break in between jobs, and but that took me a long time to build towards that. I think I was searching for a year and nothing was coming through. So totally depends.
And that's why again, that high value visibility, networking, doing that in such a proactive way. So when you do make that choice, you have more control over your career.
Absolutely. All right, let's go for this. This is another great question from Steph. She asks, do you have any specific tips for someone returning to work after taking time out for family?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's so many ways to approach this. I have a client right now I'm working with that had a gap in employment for personal reasons, and he's going back into the workforce. With that, focus on. There's a few ways you can address it. Focus on the skills you develop during that time you're away from work and how that can apply and be of value to them. So that's one way, and also just make it you really want to shift it into a positive, essentially. So what was positive about that experience, and how can you bring that to the new company? Let me know if that helps. Who is that from?
Sorry, that was from Steph Housden.
Steph. Okay, let me know if that
Mhm.
helps, Steph.
And maybe we'll move on to the next question, just looking at time. We have quite a few questions here. So if everyone, I mean, I'm okay to go a few minutes over.
Yeah,
Kate,
yeah,
let me know if you have some time, and
yeah.
feel free to just let us know in the chat too. So let's see, great question here from Elaine. Say that I have a marketing career path, but I have studied and done project management work. And this is what I wish to do. Should I not put my marketing path, just the project management path?
Okay, so sorry, what was the role that they want?
So they're wanting to go into project management,
Okay, they're going into project management and they're currently doing marketing.
I think.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
correct me if I'm wrong, Elaine.
so what I would suggest is, okay, so if you're let's say they want to go into marketing, you said?
So they have experience in marketing, but they've
But they want to go.
studied and PM. So
Okay.
yeah, so
So
they want to go into PM. Yeah.
okay, so if you want to go into project management, what I would say, for example, on your LinkedIn, you want the focus to be project management because that's the role that you want. In terms of marketing, you don't like that's a great complementary skill. So you still want to include that. So say let's take LinkedIn for example. You can still include that marketing experience on LinkedIn. But what I would recommend is how can you tie in what you did in that marketing role and make it relevant to project management, right? So maybe with marketing, it required, with marketing, you're communicating. That's what it is. You're communicating with people when you're marketing. So maybe you can tie that into how your communication in that marketing experience um, leads to being related to project management. So you kind of want to relate it. And another way I can explain this is um, say you are a server at a restaurant. You're a server at a restaurant and you want a role in, say, customer service. Those, when you look at those, are very different roles. Okay, a server, and I want to do online support, remote job doing customer service. However, there's so many skills and things that you can do as a server that relate to customer service. So, when people come into restaurants, it's having that dialogue with people, it's engaging with people. So what you want to do is take that and relate it to the other role. Let me know if that helps. Does that make sense? So you're taking those skills and you're essentially relating it to that new role so that you can make that transition, but you still want to feature that by all means, like put you did marketing. Just what I would suggest is as best as you can, try to relate that to the new role that you do want.
Agreed. Okay, so Angelina asks, thinking of career path clarity, do you have any recommendations for those who may be looking at a career change slash major or minor to
Yeah.
see what remote jobs would be best fit based on skills, characteristics, wants and needs, etc.?
Yeah. So you can definitely make a career shift. So Ty, in the example that I gave, I think Ty was doing delivery, like postal delivery, and he landed a remote job doing customer service. So when you're making a career change, you're really going to be focusing on those transferable skills, looking at your skills. What are my transferable skills on top of my, skills or whatever I did in my last role? So really look at those transferable skills. In terms of getting clarity, what I would suggest is one level to that is understanding what opportunities are out there. And I don't want to say, okay, just go to, we work remotely and assume those are the only opportunities. Like there are just so many industries and roles that are available out there. But one start could be, looking on those remote job board, look at the types of jobs that are out there. What was it? Flex Jobs posted a list of, I think, 100 most top 100 companies hiring in 2020 or 2021. So look at those companies, see the type of roles that they're hiring for. There's also a resource. I'm trying to remember. It might be Pay Scale. So if you go to Pay Scale, it will give you not only what salary levels are for different opportunities, but I think it also takes you through what those career paths look like. So if you decide to pursue that as an opportunity, ultimately, and then an informational interview. So connecting with people at these different companies in these different roles, asking them like, what's it like being in this role? How did you get into this role? That will be really powerful. So it will take some research, but what you want to look at is, okay, where are my skills? Where do my skills lie? What are my transferable skills that I can bring to a company? What does this remote work landscape look like? And again, having those conversations with people to really get clear on, okay, if I pursue this remote career path, these are the skills that are expected. Even looking at the job board postings, it says in there what's expected for each role. And so what you can do is identify, okay, if I'm here and I want this role, is there a major skill gap that I need to fill? Is it minor? If it's minor, okay, that may be worth pursuing. And with all those elements, I think it will help you lead to what that career path is.
Absolutely. I think that actually answers relates to the quite a few questions here too. If you don't mind, I think we'll have time for just one more question. There's been a couple of
Yeah,
questions related to this
yeah.
theme of how do you show on your resume or application when there's kind of a year gap in between jobs?
Yeah, so I would, you can definitely put it in there. And again, during that time off, just you could focus on what you did during that time, but how it applies and relates to that goal. So for example, I have a client that had some time off, a gap in his resume, about a year. And during that time off, he led some like workshops. He facilitated some workshops in project management. So his background was project management. He had facilitated some workshops during that time. So he put it in there. Let's even say, for example, it's somebody that takes a gap year, right? So you're a student, you take a gap year. Instead of saying, "Oh, I just traveled the world," what skills did you learn during that time? So communicating with people from different cultural backgrounds and all of that, like that's a great skill to have. Communication, like you're constantly moving. Adaptability, if you're taking a gap year to go travel the world, you're definitely learning how to be adaptable. So instead of just saying, "Oh, I took a gap year and I went to travel," try to pull the skills and experiences that can relate to the role that you want.
Totally agree. I think there's ways like say you're looking for a customer support gig. One of our previous guests suggested, jumping on different communities and different forums and helping people. And so that will literally showcase in your application that you're helping people in between
100%.
jobs or whatever it may be.
100%. And maybe
Mhm.
you did some, a couple courses or studied, even if it's just like a couple Udemy courses or whatnot, and how that helped and how that will be of value to them. Again, it's always just relating it to the role and showing how that's of value to the employer.
Totally. Well, I think we'll cut this here.
Awesome.
We're a couple minutes over. So I just wanted
Yeah.
to thank you again for your time. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Congrats to the three
Yes.
winners once again. And I'll be sending this recording along with a couple other resources and links and invites to our Slack community tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that email.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Justine, for having me on. Again, yeah, congrats to the winners again. And yeah, Justine, I think we have some resources that we'll send your way to support you as well. Awesome. Thanks so
Perfect.
much, everybody.
Thanks again, everyone. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye.